This content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If
Oh.
you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no
a
one.
second.
Oh, no.
We return to our planet. The High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. Septum Sin versus the world. 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 I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching Septum Sin vs. the World. I'm Septum Sin. And, well, we have another pickup. So I'm going to show you what I got.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
Well, it has been an interesting week. And I have a couple of things from here and there, a little bit of everything. So I thought I would show off 7 titles. The first is a AVGN, well, really Cinemassacre product, The Deader the Better, which is a Cinemassacre-like short film with a couple of short film collections. So it's, I'm curious, I always like small creation stuff, so it's really kind of cool to have more of that. I don't know much about it, but I like James Rolfe, and I think that he has some good insights into film, and in general, can be fun, so I do look forward to that. Seems to be my cats like to disturb my filming every time. So one that I got from Dollar Tree was this, I believe, a documentary called Chelsea on the Rocks. But I just love that cover. Doesn't that cover look good? So let's read this a little bit. Abel Ferrara's first documentary, Chelsea on the Rocks, is an absorbing, freewheeling personal journey inside the walls of the mythical history of the Chelsea Hotel, Manhattan's most celebrated bohemian landmark. The hotel has been called home by luminaries and icons like Mark Twain, Bob Dylan, Tennessee Williams, Stanley Kubrick, Milos Forman, Julian Shanbell, Sid Vicious, Dee Ramone, and Arthur Miller, among others. So kind of cool. I always like documentary stuff. I always love to be able to beef up documentaries in my collection. Yes, I know, kid. So, not a bad thing. So I got one from an Arrow sale a while back, and everybody talks about this horror film. So this is Evil Ed. I've heard about it, heard good things, so I wanted to check it out. It's a blood-soaked love letter to the splatter films of the 80s. Video rental favorite Evil Ed returns in an extended special ed edition cut alongside hours of stomach-churning bonus features. Mild-mannered film technician Edward enjoys his job, that is, until he finds himself transferred from his regular post to the splatter and gore department. Yep. So I'm very curious as to how this goes. It looks like fun. So many films I want to see in my collection, and this is a good one. Speaking of good films and the 80s, let's talk about The Gate. This is the Vestron, Vestron release. I've still got the slipcover. It's a little bit beat up, but not too bad. So that's what without. Now this is this thing where you've got these kids that kind of open up this gate and release these demons. Where they find this like hole in the backyard. Well, then the demons try to possess or take, well, the people back to hell so they can launch their own world takeover. It's a classic film from the 80s. It's just, there were a lot of these films. A lot of these, like, horror films with kids as some of the main recipients of it. And I kind of liked it. I did. I like this genre. I think we're coming back to it a little bit. I mean, shoot, Ghostbusters is in this. The new Ghostbusters is in this genre, having kids be the main stars and witnessing the horror. I'm not sure Ghostbusters, I still am not sure how I feel about it. A lot of fans like it, so that's good. But I still am not sure how I feel about changing the genre of Ghostbusters from the typical horror comedy elements to a, well, to this genre. But, is what it is. So I got this. Criterion, for the most part, keeps a lot of its films in print. But some of them are out of print, and that is sad. And one of them is Michael Powell's Peeping Tom. And that is a real sad thing, because Peeping Tom is a very important piece of film history. There are a handful of films that made up the genesis of the slasher film. Films like Scream, Friday the 13th, Halloween, all of them came from a handful of films. And two are cited in being a huge part. One of them is Hitchcock's Psycho, and this one is Peeping Tom. Now, Peeping Tom is about this guy who does camera work, and he likes to use his camera with a special like knife on it to show people in their moment of death. So he's kind of this secluded killer. I really like this one, and it is interesting if you look at these back to back to back. Others, like Bay of Blood, also have a hand in the birth of the slasher. So it's just really kind of cool to see where it was and how the slasher evolved to eventually become Black Christmas, which was the first official slasher to follow the modern rules of slashers. So I did some game hunting a while back, and I've been kind of wanting this for a while, but eventually I decided, okay, I'm getting it. And that is the Telltale Walking Dead collection. Now, there was a previous collection that had the last season on digital, which I did not like, but Skyward, which bought out the Walking Dead series rights after Telltale buckled, so they finished the last season. This one helps keep it all forward. All of the Walking Dead games are on it. I have mixed feelings about them. I think that they are kind of cool in the stories, but at the same time, the Telltale games don't really give you much choice. They give you the illusion of choice with only slight differences. Really, in the end, no matter what you say, the story's going to go the same way. It's just going to go maybe slightly different. And this one is probably the hallmark of that. But it's a really good story if you like the Walking Dead universe, and much better than the real Walking Dead universe. So, hey. And finally, I do have a boot that I got from the Disc Dog. I am slowly working my way away from that to, if it's not available, I plan on trying to get it, well, just make my own. And I am this close to doing that. And then, hoping for a proper physical release. This one has a proper physical release, but is really hard to get a hold of. I do plan on eventually getting the proper and replacing it, but that is the show Weird Science. Now, I really liked the movie. That's one of my favorites. I've got it on Arrow. And this one, again, continues on that. I never watched it, but it was on USA quite a bit back in the day. That one and Maniac Mansion are two that I really wanted to get a hold of. I'm hoping that I can find the old HBO Worst Witch series. I mean, they did a new one for Netflix, which is pretty decent. I'm hoping to eventually get a hold of the HBO version, or at least get a hold of something I can stream so I can tape it, essentially. I feel like those old days where you would take and again, I don't know how many of you are old enough to remember this, but the old days, what you did is you would tape a movie off of the TV, and you could rewatch it that way. That would be your home video collection back in the day, if you couldn't afford the actual home video release, or if there wasn't one. Well, now that's back. We have software that we can tape it off of the streaming, which is kind of cool in that sense. It's, it is there. The ethics of it are mixed. So it is kind of strange. If I can find it and I can purchase a physical release of something for a price that I can afford, I will. And if it's in print especially, I will never. If there is a physical release in print, I will never do the taping or the other, because while it's in print and it's physical, I can buy that and it will benefit those people who are creating it. If I'm getting it used, unless I'm buying it from the creator, which, that's like, yeah, I have a couple used copies, I'll sell it. If that's the case, then yeah, but otherwise, the creators aren't benefiting from any used. This benefits the creator just as much as me having any of the, used. Paying Netflix and watching it once through is also paying the creator. So, these are things. I plan on, hopefully, encouraging further. But I think that down the line, as we enter an all-digital future, physical collectors are going to resort to things like this more and more as time goes on. But that's my thoughts. I hope you've had an enjoyable experience here. If you have, click that like button, hit that subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.